All right. Well, I guess I'll read this. Week 4 of the NFL season.
So we're doing the CBS deals thing. No?
No. I don't think so.
That's later. Okay, week 4 of the NFL season kicks off tonight. And if you are a fan of money, well, we got just the thing for you. It's time for another edition of Child's Play.
Yeah, I guess that would make, if we were giving out actual money, I guess that would make more sense. But this is almost as good as money, guys, because we had another good week last week. We went 2-1. We're now 7-2 on the year with our picks.
What is this we thing, John?
It's me and my daughter, who I have licensed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
For her gambling knowledge.
I feel like she's doing all the work.
No. Now, you know who's not having a great week right now?
Who did?
The Raiders.
Yeah.
They got blown out by the winless Carolina Panthers. We should note this was Carolina's first game since benching former #1 pick Bryce Young in favor of Andy Dalton, who is widely regarded as one of the okayest quarterbacks of all time.
He's fine.
But again, against the Raiders, I should say, he looked like Joe Montana and Peyton Manning had a baby with Tom Brady. I didn't do very well in biology. So, after that loss, guys, it's time for us to now break out the official Good Day Sacramento Las Vegas Raiders vibe tracker. Now, you'll remember, after they lost to the Chargers, I said they were like the Spearmint Rhino at noon on a Wednesday.
Okay.
Then they pulled off that win against the Ravens.
Yeah, that was
They're
big.
riding high. This is prime rib dinner night at the Palace Station. It's off the strip, but still,
it's still there. Yeah.
Prime rib's nice.
Yeah.
But after this week, guys, we got updated. The Raiders are now hanging out at the Dottie's Casino on Jones and Lake Mead. Yeah. I used to live in this neighborhood, and trust me, it's not great. As if this Google Earth picture from the parking lot doesn't tell the story.
It looks fantastic. Really fun.
You know, the nice casinos are next to a Domino's.
Oh, yeah.
But the Raiders are taking on the Browns, who their vibes aren't great either. They lost to a winless team last week. For starters, though, as I mentioned, the vibe's not good. One thing, they're in Cleveland. It's always a negative. Second, they lost to the Giants. C, their quarterback has more lawsuits than touchdowns in the last 3 years.
This is very true.
Not a joke. Deshaun Watson was hit with another lawsuit last week from a woman accusing him of sexual misconduct. That makes 25 lawsuits and 20 touchdowns over the last 3 years.
Oh, man. That's so wrong.
You add it up, and the Browns are 1-point underdogs in Vegas. Here is the Child's Play. You ready? Browns and Raiders. Who do you like? You're going with the Raiders.
Okay, good to know.
What?
Okay, so we're going Raiders, giving up a point in that one. The great screenwriter William Goldman once said of the movie business, nobody knows anything. The same could be said for this NFL season. Nobody knows if anybody is good. The New Orleans Saints looked great for the first 2 weeks of the
really
season.
did.
They led the league in scoring while beating up on Carolina and Dallas.
True.
Derek Carr in the offense looked like a Ferrari. Last week against the Eagles, he was an 06 Hyundai Elantra with cloth interior. They only managed 12 points against an Eagles defense that gave up 22 points to Kirk Cousins. Speaking of Cousins, Falcons fans are loving theirs more than usual these days. It's Georgia. Kirk Cousins has looked better in the last 2 games. The Falcons are 1-2, but they've played some pretty good teams so far this year. Because of that, they're favored by 1.5 at home over the Saints. And here's the Child's Play. All right. Saints and Falcons. Who do you like? Ooh, we're going with the Saints, huh?
Good call.
Going with the Saints.
Good call.
I agree. They're basically the same team, the Saints and Falcons, so might as well take the points. Okay, final game, guys. Chiefs at the Chargers. It's becoming clear the Chargers franchise is just cursed. I don't know what we did to deserve this, but apparently it was quite bad. This was supposed to be the year things turned around. We got a competent coach to go along with our franchise quarterback. But last week we were reminded that even though it never rains in Southern California, there's a black cloud over this team. Starting quarterback Justin Herbert was knocked out of the game with an ankle injury, along with both starting tackles and defensive end Joey Bosa. Then Monday, the NFL suspended All-Pro safety Derwin James for, quote, repeated violations of playing rules intended to protect the health and safety of players. Concussions involved.
Oh, okay.
Mind you, the team they're playing has a guy facing numerous felony charges, but 0 suspensions this week. Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice has been charged with 8 counts, including aggravated assault for racing a friend in his Lamborghini on a Texas highway and causing a 6-car chain reaction crash. Did I mention he fled the scene too? Did I mention he was later arrested after an altercation at a club?
Yep.
Thankfully, nobody was killed in this crash. And thankfully, the game's in LA, so Rice is going to be riding the team bus instead of driving to the stadium. Last week, he led the Chiefs with 12 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. Expect more of that this week against the Chargers defense missing one of their best players because, let me check my notes, he tackles hard. 8 felony charges, no suspension, hard tackler. You got to miss a game. Chiefs are favored by 8.5 points in LA. Here's the Child's Play. All right, final game. Chiefs and Chargers, honey. You don't have to pick Daddy's team. Okay. Now, let me just say, I cannot personally vouch for that last pick. We're going to lose by 100 in this game. There's almost no chance. But to recap, we got the Raiders giving up a point, New Orleans getting 1.5 points, and the Chargers, missing half the team, getting 8.5 points.
Okay. I think that one's going to be rough.
Now, the harder thing is going to be if the Raiders lose this, where do I find to go lower than the Dotties at Jones and Lake Mead?
I feel like Cleveland's got you. They've got you. There's a spot in Cleveland for that. There's a spot for that.
Maybe Cleveland will be the next spot.
All right, thank you, John, and thank you, little John.
Yeah.